Welcome everyone to This Week in PlayStation, your weekly look at all the new games on the PlayStation Network and the new trophy lists that have been revealed. And this week, getting this episode together has been a nightmare. I was actually working on this morning. My plan was to get up, get right to this video, get it up for everybody. And I've had computer issues all day long, which I finally have figured out. Basically, it was something to do with my computer trying to boot, and there was some files, essential files that were on one of my other internal hard drives. And apparently that hard drive has bit the dust and is dead. So my computer wouldn't restart, and it was a complete mess. But I got it working, and now finally can do this video for you. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Let's go over to the PlayStation Store and start looking at everything. It's not a huge week for new trophy list or for new games that have come out. It's not a whole lot going on, but do my best to cover everything as interestingly as I can. First up is Tumbleseed. This is one of the games I did a review for this week. There's only a couple reviews I got a chance to knock out this week, but Tumbleseed is one of them. This is a roguelike game. It didn't overly impress me, which I've gotten some negative feedback as people saying it's amazing. What I've noticed, though, is basically if I review a game that's on PS4 but it's also on Switch and I don't absolutely love it, then I get some negative feedback. It's pretty much, if it's on the Switch, everyone seems to absolutely love it no matter what game it ends up being. At least, that's what I've noticed so far. I could be completely wrong with that. Hopefully that isn't the case and that changes up, but I do like, so many reviews in a week for PS4 games. Most people aren't gonna, get mad about it or argue about it, but you mess with a game that's also on Switch, oh, you're gonna get the wrath. That's pretty much what's happened. But anyway, it's an interesting game. Basically, you are playing as seeds, a seed. There's a lot of different types of seed that have different abilities and different powers. You can switch on the fly once you get certain ones. And your goal is to go up a mountain. And when you reach the top of the mountain, that's the end of the game. It's a relatively short game if you have a good run. The whole point is, though, you have to balance, using the left and right joysticks, the seed on the balance board in order to work it up the mountain itself. And of course, you get hit by enemies, or you fall down pits, and if you run out of health, it's game over, and you start back from the very bottom of the mountain again. So it's one of those kind of games. And it changes up the layout of the mountain every time you start over again. So there's a lot of replayability potentially in it. It's just like, it wasn't enough there to overly impress me, but it has a good soundtrack and I like the art style, but to me it was just okay. Next up is a game called the Caligula Effect. This is from Atlas and all for the PlayStation Vita. I assume it's a JRPG. I haven't looked much into it, and I saw it was coming out. I'm part of Atlas's mailing list, so I've gotten a bunch of emails about the game lately. It looks really cool, though. Something I very much would have been interested in if it was on the PS4. And, there we go, the genre, PS4, RPG. But it looks kind of like a cool game overall, and I do like Atlas, even if some of their policies lately with the whole Persona 5 streaming thing was a little bit stupid. I still like Atlas overall. So it looks like an interesting game. If you messed with it yourself, let me know down in the comments about it. Next up is a game I wanted to review, but I just couldn't force myself to pay the price for it for $14.99, and I didn't hear back from the developer or publisher. I sent multiple emails about this game trying to do a review for it, but that's Super Rude Bear Resurrection, which is pretty much an action platformer that's done in the same style as like a Super Meat Boy, where it's overly hard for the sake of being overly hard. One cool mechanic seems to be, though, when you die, you can use the dead bodies to help you out, which is something that I kind of like as a mechanic. It's something that they did briefly in a game that I liked a lot last year, which was Klaus. There's a part in that game where you do just that. So it's one of those games, so it's not everyone's cup of tea. I like them for the, overall, I like them. They can get frustrating, but it's one of those ones I can stop and then come back a little bit later. I was able to beat Super Meat Boy, and it was a struggle, but I was able to get through that. So I was kind of interested in trying this one out, but like I said, the price point and all, I just didn't mess with it. Then there is Quiz Night Tonight, which is a VR quiz game. It requires VR, so you can't play it by yourself. I want to say no platinum involved, because I think we looked at the trophy list last year. Other than that, not a whole lot of information on it. I don't think a whole lot of people have been messing with it, because I've heard absolutely nothing about this game thus far. Next up is Pixel Junk bundle for the PS3. It's all these Pixel Junk games put together in one bundle for $60. It's PS3 though, not Vita, not PS4. If you're a fan, I guess, of Pixel Junk and somehow don't have all these, or you're interested in that, I guess would be one of the reasons why you may end up giving that one a look. Then there is Paladins. This finally launched this week. This is a free-to-play hero-based shooter, which of course means very much going to draw a lot of criticism of being too similar to Overwatch and stuff like that. But it sustained at least a tiny bit of buzz. Obviously, now that it's finally out, I'm not messing with it. I'm not really into these kind of games at all. But if you're someone who has messed with it, let me know if it's something that actually is worth the download or not. But I'm just not really into the whole hero shooter craze that's kind of been really popular now because of Overwatch. A game we talked about last week from trophies and all was Nog, which is a very weird puzzle game. Just a very, very strange looking puzzle game. It is VR, but I think it's just VR compatible. Or wait, yeah, it is required for VR functionality, but I don't... Is it actually required? I guess it is. It says PlayStation camera required, so I guess it is pure VR, which I didn't think it was originally when I was looking at it. That's a weird looking game. I don't know, didn't necessarily catch my eye as being like something that had to have VR, but maybe it does. It just says compatible here, but then it's like required here. Maybe you have to use the PlayStation camera regardless if you use VR or not. I'm not too positive now on it. If this is something you've messed with, let me know. The Darksiders Furies Collection, War and Death. I assume this is Darksiders 1 and 2 together. Yes, it's Darksiders War Mastered and Definitive Edition of Darksiders 2. This is coming out. $19.99 is not a bad price at all, though, for both of them games together as one bundle. Both Darksider games are good, and the versions on PS4 are pretty well done. And of course, they just announced this week Darksiders 3 is in the works, which surprised some people. That it's happening, but it's cool that it is. A Neo Geo game from the Arcade Archives, which I always complain about at least once a week on this show, and that is Last Resort. This is a fun little shooter shmup, and I like the Arcade Archives, like I always say. I hate the trophy list, and I think they're a little bit too pricey. A game that I did review this week as well is World to the West. This is from the same people that made Teslagrad. You have 4 playable characters. It's an adventure puzzle game that's similar in some ways to Legend of Zelda as far as the puzzle solving is concerned. It's a lot of puzzles that you would see very much in. It would have fit right at home in a Zelda game. I like the soundtrack and the world overall. I enjoyed the game a lot. From all the promotional stuff I have found, it was going to be $19.99. So I went in doing my review because I got it from the publisher going at a $19.99 price tag. I think $24.99 is pushing it. I thought $19.99 was potentially pushing it with the game. It is lengthier than I expected. It took me about 8 hours or so in order to get through it, and it is a well-made game for sure. They are also doing a physical release for it coming up in June. There will be a physical version of this as well, so if you want to hold off for that. And it does have a platinum, and each of the trophies is just getting the hidden scrolls. There's 36 hidden scrolls set up around the game, similar to Teslagrad, and finding them, each of them is a trophy. So it's a very similar trophy list to Teslagrad. And once you know where they are, it's going to be a relatively easy plat as well with that. But it's a good game. I just don't know. It's harder to recommend at the price. The big game for this week was Prey. That just came out today. This is the not sequel or whatever it is to the older Prey game. I know a lot is different in this one. It's the first-person perspective shooter that got a lot of buzz from its trailer and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm sure there's a ton of people playing it and enjoying it right now. Plenty of information out there. Next up is Dreamfall Chapters Launch Edition. This includes all the Dreamfall Chapters game things that have been in the works for, I think, a while now. And you can see, enjoy the definitive experience of the game with reworked character models and improved animations and stuff like that for specifically the PS4 version of the game. It's a very story-driven style of game that's, one of those ones that's not going to be for everyone. I wanted to check it out, but at $30, it's pushing it a bit. It does have a platinum, though. Thankfully, it does. And hopefully one day I'll be able to check it out. There was one of those ones I did submit emails to the company, just never ended up hearing back. And next up, and certainly not least, is AFL Evolution. This is Australian rules football. I'm surprised this came out here. It's by the same studio, I think, that did the Dan Beard cricket game. So same things. You can kind of see it. If you're a fan of Australian rules football, this is obviously the game for you. Includes a whole bunch of teams from the different leagues, and there's a lot here, actually. Like, surprisingly, there's a lot. There's 1 to 8 players with online play, and thus included. There is a full trophy list, and it looks like a decent representation of that particular sport that I'm only, a bit familiar with. I'm only, I know a little bit about it, but I'm not, like, a diehard fan by any means. So, for the price point, of course, I'm not going to be checking that one out. Just because of that alone. If it was a cheaper game, like a $20 game, I may give it a look, because I do like the oddball sports titles. I play like handball, I play some of the rugby games, and I don't mean oddball as in strange, like the sport itself is strange, but in that they're not the commons. They're not your common sports games, is more what I mean by that. But there you guys go. Also, Flat Out 4 is supposed to have come out today as well. I do have a review for Flat Out 4, but it's not listed on here on PSN for Flat Out 4. It's already been out in Europe for a while, and there's a physical version of it that was supposed to come out today. I don't know if it got delayed as far as its digital version is concerned, or what's going on with that, but Flat Out 4 also. And this morning, and it's not listed now, NBA Playground, the new game that's very similar to NBA Jam in many regards, was listed as free today and was a download, but I think it was a demo, but it was listed under like full games for free. After I booted up the game, there was only online play, and you got a couple of free packs of cards. I don't know how all that's going to work. I don't think it's going to be a free-to-play game that you get, like, cards and stuff. Maybe it is. Maybe you have to do all that. I don't know. But it's not listed anymore, so I don't know if it got up prematurely or what exactly happened with that. But, okay, so here we go with the trophies. Not a ton here this week. Starting off with Victor Vran. This is a game that has a bunch of DLCs on Steam and the like, and will be coming with all of it, apparently. All the DLC, both DLC trophy packs included right out from the get-go. I'm not very familiar with the game, but clearly, thankfully, it does have a plat, but it looks like it's going to be relatively complicated, well, at least lengthy, with getting to level 50, maybe 15,000 kills. 15,000 kills? That's a lot of kills for any game. No matter even if there's a lot of easy kills that can be done, that's a lot of kills. Inflict 2,500 damage in a single hit, stuff like that. So, looks like maybe one, complete all elite challenges, and that's a gold, so that one's probably a little bit of a pain. And defeat it, Lord Gabriel, which I guess is probably the final boss, with a character who has never died. Good luck with that one. Next up, we have Arcade Archives Last Resort. We were just talking about this before. Another simple list from Arcade Archives. Always annoying, these lists, because I just wish they would put more effort into them, or at least lower the price. Like a $2 price tag, and this crappy trophy list would be acceptable. It's like, if you're going to charge $7.99, put a good trophy list in there. Put some effort. Even if it is no platinum, just put more effort in. I complain, I think every week. Another list for Akiba's Beat. We've talked about it multiple times on the show. That's finally coming out in 2 weeks. 3 weeks. It's coming out finally. Here is the trophy list for the Vita game Caligula Effect that we were just talking about. Completing each of the different chapters, form bonds with friends, solve the mystery of each class. So that's kind of cool. So there's 21 mysteries to solve. Completed all of each character's episodes, and reach level 100 with a protagonist. So looks like a pretty straightforward list for this game. Just a lot you gotta do in it. Just pretty much do everything. But it looks like a very, a doable one for an RPG, but probably will take a pretty lengthy amount of time. Next up, we're going to look at Samurai Warrior Spirit of Sonata. This is the new Samurai Warrior game that's coming out at the end of this month. It came out in Japan last year. I guess a spin-off of the Samurai Warriors games, just because it's not being called like Samurai Warriors 5 or Extreme, Samurai Warriors 4, Extreme blah, or whatever. I'm a fan, of course, of the Samurai Warriors and Dynasty Warriors styles of games, but this one is one of these spin-offs. We've had a couple of spin-offs lately. Give This character many conch shells. So apparently you got to collect a bunch of conch shells and give them, and that's a gold trophy. So that's probably a lot of them involved in that. There's not a whole lot of golds here. In fact, there's only 2. The other one being acquired 26 different battle accessories in battle or while exploring. So that's a little bit probably of a bane. Reach level of any officer to 99. So reach level 99 with any officer. Obtain a KO count of 100,000. Daunting task, but doable in a game like Samurai Warriors. It's probably just going to take a little bit of time, and then beat each of the visit different castle towns and view different event scenes in the game. Way of Redemption is up next for the PS4. Not very familiar, I guess. Online, a lot of online plays, so this is obviously an online game. What is? I know I've probably looked at something for this, so a lot of it's online. Win a round of 2 versus 2, where you cause all the damage on an enemy portal. Win a match without using any energy. So it looks like some of the stuff is doable though, but some people haven't. No one has a platinum in it yet for the 28 people that are messing with it, but Super Rude Bear. Like I mentioned before, no one has a platinum in it. Not really surprising. Defeating each of the bosses. Beat the tutorial in under 26 seconds. Where's the ones that no one has yet? Beat Flesh World in under 5 minutes and 30 seconds on V mode in one go. That's probably pretty challenging. Complete every level in the game in 10 or less deaths. And it's only a bronze. You gotta love when games like this, these like try-hard games, end up having something like that as a trophy, and then end up taunting you with it being a bronze. It's like, come on, man, at least be a gold. Beat every level in Hate World without dying, including bonus levels. So at least you get that too. So beat every level without dying. You have to do, and beat every level in the game in 10 or less deaths. So quite a daunting task indeed. Farming Simulator 18. For the Vita. This is the Vita list of it, but I'm sure it'll also be coming to PS4. And it looks like a pretty similar list to the other farming sim games. Cut down a certain amount of trees, harvest a certain amount of stuff, sold more than 30,000 liters of milk, sold more than 24,000 wool, have bred 20 cows, 30 sheep, and 50 pigs. Gotta breed those pigs, man. Blasting Agent Ultimate Edition. Beat each of the levels on normal, beat each of the levels on hard, and then you have to unlock the different costumes for the character, unlock a few other abilities along the way. Pretty straightforward trophy list for Blasting Agent. Very, very straightforward list. Surge. The Surge is up next. This is a game that's getting a bit of buzz. I may be doing a review for it. I'm not positive yet. It's some guy referred to, and I looked at the thing. It's being referred to as a Dark Souls-esque game, but futuristic, like with mechs and the like. And that's kind of a little bit of the vibe I did get it with it when I was checking it out. So probably relatively going to be a relatively challenging game, and thus trophy list involved in it. Found all the audio logs. I was trying to look at a lot of trophies here for this one, and only one gold amongst the entire thing, which is acquire the Iron Moss gear. So interesting. Give people scrap metal. That's a good one. Met Sally in person. Turing test. So I bet you that's an AI. Or a robot, whatever. It's gonna be a robot of something. AFL Evolution. This is it's called AFL 3 Evolution, but it's AFL Evolution. I guess it's AFL 3, the third game, maybe, and the third game being called Evolution. But either way, not a whole lot of people, of course, have messed with. Score different goals. Draw in a match. Let's look at the beefy ones. There we go. In career, win 3 AFL premierships in a row on medium plus difficulty. I don't know if you'll be able to simulate to make that a little bit easier or not. And is that the only gold? 2 gold. There's another gold in here somewhere, but I missed it. In competition, win every competition trophy. Lose a final. That sucks. Lose. You have to get to a final and lose is a trophy. Complete 200 match objectives. So decent amount of stuff involved. So not a really, really simple, easy list. for AFL Evolution. Praise trophy list up next. No one, I guess this has got to be, maybe just hasn't registered yet. The game did just come out today. Can like 50 people only? But probably because it just came out today, so things haven't been updated and all that. That happens when games just launch. Hacking different things. Let's look at some of the goal ones. Complete the game once, acquiring only Typhoon powers, and again, acquiring only human powers. Complete the game without ever acquiring any Typhoon or human ability. Wow. So you gotta guess beat the game multiple times. Complete the game in the most... wow. Like, what does that even mean? Like, empathetic manner. Like, what does that even mean for that? Maybe there's a choice or something? Probably some spoilers in here, so I don't want to... Not for me, I don't really personally care, but someone will be like, oh my god, I saw a spoiler, and then here's the Dreamfall chapter ones. You can kind of see, it looks like a pretty straightforward trophy list. Not a whole lot of... Only one person already has the platinum, only 15 people have messed with it. Of course, that'll change a little bit. But probably pretty easy. Completing different missions, bonded with different characters. I don't think it'll be like super easy, but probably pretty easy. And then I love this one. Red Pill, what in the actual... Yeah. And last but not least is Last Stitch Goodnight, which doesn't have a platinum or anything like that. Looks interesting. I don't know exactly what's going on in it. These are kind of generic, like, or not generic, not sure what they mean. And the house shook when he fell, or salvation was sought through destruction. The hordes were kept at bay, and the mansion was clean, and they could rest in peace. So my guess is these are story, maybe, potentially, or mostly story that you'll have to do, and then by the end, and many race cars and lasers could be purchased. So it's kind of like one of those not quite sure about trophy name kind of dealies. But there you guys go. That is everything that's going on the PlayStation Store for this week. Real quick, let's see, because I'm doing this video a little bit later than I do normally. Yes, okay, this works. So what we're going to do is, just to add to this, let's look at what's coming out next week. Of course, I'll talk about these more next week when I do my thing. The Loco Roco remaster is coming out this week. So here we go. Here's this week. Neo Geo King of Fighters 95. Love that it's coming here, but it's Arcade Archives. The Birthday's the Beginning, it says demo, but the real game comes out next Tuesday. This is the game that is very much reminds me, it's like one of those like kind of creation sandbox kind of games. I hope there's a little bit more to it than just that, because I really like its art style and all that. It's not quite as claymation as this makes it look, but it's a game I've been paying attention for a while. A game called Blade and Bones, a Metroidvania-style game. That could be interesting. Basically, what I'll do is, after I get done this video, I then look at all these games, and I start sending emails to every company, hoping to maybe potentially get the game so I can do some reviews for them. Balloons TD5. 5-star tower defense. Woo! Tower defense game. Butcher, this game looks like an absolutely brutal 2D shooter. I'm hoping to get a chance to mess with that one. Demon's Crystals is a twin-stick shooter that's potentially up to 4-player multiplayer twin-stick shooter, so has potential to be a lot of fun. Elliot Quest is a retro-inspired kind of game that's been out for a while, I think on like PC and like, is finally coming here to PS4. They revealed the trophy list for it a long time ago, but it's finally coming. Save the Homeland from Harvest Moon is finally, the PS2 version is finally coming to PS4. Basically finally getting another PS2 game here on the PS4, so that's cool. Human Fall Flat is a weird physics-based puzzle game that you have to... you can kind of see it here, but like from what I read is like you're playing as a guy who like is sleeping and you're trying to escape the dreams. There's that Last Stitch Goodnight we just looked at. After surviving near-death, out-of-body experience, you're kidnapped by a doctor who's experimenting on people who satisfy certain criteria, and then you get to escape the doctor's lab with new weapons, powers, and a strong stomach for facing science gone bad. I like it. Lethal League. This is the competitive projectile fighting game, and that's what they call it, and I already knew it because I'm actually already reviewed this game. I can't say much more about it because embargoes and the like, but it's been on PC for a long time, but it's finally come to PS4 and Xbox One this week. Look out for a review for this one, for sure. It's already done. I just can't put it up yet. Loco Roco Remastered for PS4. Awesome. I love Loco Roco. A lot of fun on the PlayStation Portable. Really cool that they remastered it and put it here on the on the PS4. I'm hoping maybe I'll have the money, maybe have the funds to be able to check it out. Moonshot Galaxy, a VR title. Blah 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 blah. Ooh, top of leaderboards. Here's NBA Playground. Like I said, it's supposed to come out next week. I don't know what's going on with the demo, stuff like that. It doesn't really mention any of the, that'd be like free-to-play kind of, style of game. So hopefully it's not, but it's fun. I played one game of it online already. It's basically NBA Jam style. Very much NBA Jam style, but very little different other than instead of going on fire, you get like abilities. It's like a roulette. When you fill a meter, a roulette goes off, and you get one of several different abilities potentially for your characters for a limited amount of time. Polybius is a trance shooter from creators of Tempest 2000. That's kind of cool, but it's VR, so I won't be able to check it out, but that's cool. Ooh, Resident Evil Code Veronica X is getting a PS2 port to the PS4, but no trophy list yet on this. It's probably not going to have a platinum. It'll probably be the same lackluster trophy list that was on the PS3 version of the game. It's cool that it's coming here, though. I love Code Veronica. I love classic Resident Evil. Who knows? Maybe I'll get it anyway, and just because it's me. But still, if that somehow got a platinum, that's definite buy. That's a 100% buy for sure. Revenant Saga. Not too sure. Fantasy RPG, stunning 3D battles. I haven't even heard anything about that one. So that's kind of cool. Strafe is a game that's getting a little bit of buzz. Roguelike first-person shooter. That it has a really cool physical version of it that's coming out. Strafe, like, just even if you're not like interested in the game, look at that. It's like a really cool version they're doing physically for the PC. And I think PS4 as well. So there you guys go. That is everything that's coming out next week. Talked about everything, I think. And that'll wrap up this week in PlayStation. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the show, let me know down in the comment section below. Share it. Share it on social media. Retweet the tweets I put out about it. Put it on trophy pages. Put it on PlayStation-related websites, whatever. Get some people's eyes on the video so that I get encouraged to make sure I keep doing it. So anyway, guys, thank you, though, so much for watching. I'll see you next week.